Hello everyone, and welcome back to Litigation Corner. I'm your host, John Martino, the Director of Litigation at Community Legal Services, and I'm coming to you today continuing to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Community Legal Services. Today we're going to the southwest corner of our service area, Hernando County. Hernando County is known as Florida's Adventure Coast. It sits off the Gulf Coast and has amazing things to explore, from visiting some of the mermaids in Weeki Wachee Springs, kayaking the beautiful Bayport Linda Peterson paddling trail, or pedaling through a scenic bike trail. Hernando County has so much to offer. Community Legal Services has an office right in Spring Hill of Hernando County. The most common types of cases we handle in Hernando are family law and domestic violence, housing issues, and consumer issues. When I talk about consumer issues, what I'm talking about is pursuing or defending cases on behalf of consumers based on the legal protections of individuals in their transactions with businesses. Consumer laws aim to prevent unfair, deceptive, or fraudulent practices in the marketplace. It encompasses a wide range of areas, including product safety, truth in advertising, fair debt collection, and privacy, empowering consumers with rights and allowing them to seek legal action or restitution when those rights are violated. Across the 12-county service area of CLS, many community members are experiencing consumer concerns such as credit report discrepancies, being sued for a debt, or having problems with a car dealership or repair shop. When consumer issues are identified, CLS provides holistic legal services to meet the client needs related to a variety of legal concerns. We provide varying levels of direct legal services to individuals who have been sued by companies trying to collect a consumer debt. What is so amazing about the work that our consumer unit does is that we are always fighting for the underdog. The leader of our consumer unit is Angela Makley, who has been battling for the rights of consumers for years now. Angela and her team are always ready and willing to jump into the fray and fight for consumers in a wide variety of cases. I had a chance to chat with Angela recently in Hernando County. Let's take a look at our direct examination with Angela. Angela, thank you for doing this with us today. In a firm filled with attorneys trying to make an impact on people's lives, your unit is one of the most impactful units in the firm. So thank you for all the work that you do, and it's great working with you, first and foremost. I always start with complimenting people. The point of this interview is really to kind of get some background on you and your unit and the amazing work that you guys do. So first and foremost, we want to know a little bit about you. So where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Illinois. I came down to Florida to go to law school.
Okay. And that was one of the other questions I know I ask is, why did you decide to become an attorney?
Originally, I thought about becoming an attorney in high school, so it's a long time. And people I went to high school with, even though I was in the top 10% of my class, said I wasn't smart enough. So that pushed me a little bit. And then originally I thought about being a prosecutor, but I didn't like how constrained they were. And so I got into helping people through consumer law.
Yeah, I had a similar thing happen to me when I was in grade school. A teacher's like, told my parents, you just not smart. And that motivated me throughout high school. So you were growing up in Illinois. Who were you looking up to? Who were your heroes?
As a kid, I grew up in a really small town, 800 people, small town. So, your parents, that's who you look up to. When I was in high school, Ruth Bader got appointed to the Supreme Court. And I started following her career at that point, and some of the things she said really drove me. Her search for equality, not for just women like a lot of people think, but for men and women, equality was important to her. But then when I heard her say, when will there be enough women justices on the Supreme Court? And her answer was, when there are 9. That was big. And then I was lucky. When I was at Stetson, we got a new library, and when it was dedicated, she was the keynote speaker. So I got to meet her. So it was pretty cool.
That is really cool. Yeah, that's definitely a bucket list thing, the type of person you never forget being around. So you manage the consumer unit. I think when people hear consumer, and I'll admit I've been guilty of this in the past, I didn't know what that meant. So when we say that you manage the consumer law unit, what does that actually mean? What kind of cases do you guys handle?
Consumer law is what touches your day-to-day life. So think about what you do as a consumer. When you buy things, when you have work done to your home, you're a consumer. So is your warranty being upheld? Is the contractor following all the right guidelines? Are you having problems with your credit card? Anything that touches your life as a consumer, we're going to touch on.
And you mentioned credit card. I know some of the cases you guys handle are debt collection cases. A lot of people, a lot of Americans, a lot of Floridians deal with debt collectors. So do you have any basic tips that people should know, or any rights they should be aware of when it comes to debt collection?
Yes, and that is that you have a lot of protections in Florida, and you should become aware of those before you make a decision on your credit card debt. You should know, for example, your head of household income is protected. Your Social Security income is protected. Your pension is protected. They can't put a lien on your home. They can't send you to jail. So you should know all of that and have that power behind you when you're trying to deal with credit card debt. And don't let credit card debt be the thing that keeps you from putting food on your table or medicine in your home or paying your rent or your mortgage.
My understanding is that sometimes these debt collectors, some of these businesses follow the rules, and sometimes they are overzealous and do things that they're not supposed to, which kind of leads me to another topic that I want to talk about, which is consumer fraud. Sometimes we have situations come into your unit from the helpline where just someone's been scammed. What would you recommend to people to avoid getting scammed? What kinds of steps can they take to make sure that they're not being scammed?
There are a lot of scams, and Florida is one of the highest states for scams. It's a scary time, and you have to confirm everything. You get a text about your tolls or your SunPass. Don't respond to a text. Check it out yourself. Call the company, go online to the company, and that goes for any company that's trying to get a hold of you and claim you owe money. Hang up from them, find the number for the actual company and call that company back and find out if this is real. A lot of stuff that sounds really aggressive, it's not going to be real. It's not going to be real when they say this has to happen today, or you're going to be arrested, or you're going to be charged this, or something terrible is going to happen. That's too aggressive for real collections. So confirm information before you do anything.
And these kinds of attempts at scamming people, they go to everybody in Florida. Like you said, Florida has a lot of scams, but they really do seem to target seniors. And you work with a lot of seniors in your unit. What are the specific things that seniors specifically have to worry about?
Unfortunately, seniors don't always have someone else to turn to. They don't have family members here. They've retired to Florida from another state where their family is. And so they are susceptible to those kinds of scams. They get nervous and frightened and worried that something is going to happen to them, that something bad is going to happen. And it's the number one problem for seniors when it comes to scams is the fear behind them. And just remember, there are ways to check. There's always some way to check. I mean, even our office, we help people all the time who just have that question. I have this email, this text message, I got this in the mail. I just need to know if this is real. And they'll come to us for something like that someone might consider as simple, but I consider that's saving someone maybe their retirement funds. So it's important. Reach out. If you don't have family, sure, call our office. Happy to look into it for you.
One area that your unit really focuses on is issues with contractors, and there are a lot of issues with contractors in the state of Florida. When someone is looking to hire a contractor, what would you suggest they look at?
First of all, understand that if a contractor is not paid, they can lien your home and take it from you. If you owe a mortgage, they can still take it from you. If you've been in it your whole life, they can take it from you. So you've got to be serious about your contractor. You need to get more than one quote. You need to get them to put the quote completely in writing. Do not accept and sign something that says the price is to be determined, or it will depend on what the insurance company is going to pay. Because the insurance company will come back and pay a roof for $24,000, say, and somehow the contractor has a bill for $34,000. That other $10,000, you've signed it, that's on you. And if you can't pay it, there's going to be a lien on your home, and they can foreclose and force you out of your own home. So get your quotes, and if you can, try to check the company out and see, are there bad reviews? Because luckily, these companies get bad reviews, and if you can find them.
Yeah, and I think it's particularly true during hurricane season, immediately after hurricane. There are a lot of contractors that come down here and, and then if they're not licensed here and they leave the state, there's not much you can do. One of the areas of working with contractors deals with solar panels, and there's a lot of litigation that goes on with solar panels. There's unexpected costs that come with solar panels. There's faulty installation causing damages to the roof. What kind of issues do you tend to see with solar panels?
What we see a lot is a misunderstanding of what the solar panels can do for the person. And people have to understand that the salesman coming to their door is just that, a salesman, and most likely a commission salesman. They get paid if they sell you a product, and the more they sell you, the more they make. And a lot of times with our seniors, they're told, your electric bill will go away, and that's not 100% true. You've got to have some electric bill because you're attached to the grid. So your electric bill's never going to go 100% away just with solar panels. Also, what they tend to do, even if solar panels work, is they're trading one payment for another. So yes, they're not paying as high of an electric bill, but they're paying a really high bill to a solar panel company or a loan company, and sometimes it's as much or more than what their electric bill was. So it's just something that you need to really be aware of. Is this going to actually save me any money? Because by the time I pay off these solar panels in 20 years, are they still going to be good? Are they going to outlive their usefulness? So am I ever going to save any money? And a lot of these companies are not long-term companies. They're in and out. So, and they use a loan company. They don't take the loan on themselves, so they have a third party do the loan. They've gotten paid They shut down their business, they go away. You have no one to call for problems if there are problems. So there's a lot more to consider when getting solar panels, and you really got to check companies out and see how long have they been in business, do they do their own lending or use a third-party lender, and what is your true savings going to be. Don't get it from the salesman. Find other people that you can talk to who have solar panels who can tell you how much they save on their electric bill.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you mentioned loans, and one type of loan that we're dealing with a lot in Florida is PACE loans. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what PACE loans can do for you, and then maybe some hidden costs that may come in the back end. Can you tell us kind of what PACE loans are meant to do and kind of some of the effects that we're seeing?
PACE loans were originally introduced to help homes become more energy efficient or hurricane hardened. So think of hurricane shutters or windows, or think of a new roof that's going to make your home more energy efficient, or a new air conditioner that's going to be more energy efficient. And that was their purpose. Their claim is they help people who cannot otherwise afford these items to get these items, and they have no other way to get the loans that they need. The problem is, again, salespeople are salespeople, and they are coming in there and they're using the word funds. And a lot of people understand the word funds to be money given to you instead of the word loan, which means payback. And these loans, on top of being a loan for the full amount of whatever you're getting, also have the PACE agency gets a fee, and the tax company gets a fee. So there are all these front end fees, and a lot of times the interest rate is around 11-12%. Well, they say, oh, you can buy that down and buy it down to like 4%. That's another big front end fee. So these are very, very fee heavy, and they are paid through your property taxes. So your property taxes are going to double and sometimes triple, and people aren't aware of that. So when they can't pay their property taxes, they can lose their home. Or if they have a mortgage and their property taxes are part of their escrow in their mortgage payment goes up by a high enough amount, they can't afford their mortgage payment anymore, and they lose their home. So it sometimes causes more problems than it fixes. And you just really need to understand the fees involved, how it's going to be paid, and do you have the funds for that increase in your property taxes.
You manage a somewhat small but mighty team in the consumer unit. What is your approach to management, and how do you feel like you're able to get the most effective work out of your staff attorneys and paralegals? Training
first. There's a lot of areas of consumer law. We've talked about credit card and construction, and there's other types of loans like car loans and student loans and just regular warranties. And then there's people who, in small claims, need to sue maybe a neighbor or someone who won't pay them back money. So there's a lot of areas of law. It's not just focused on this. So a lot of training has to come in to really allow your staff to know what they're doing. And to get them really involved in one area of law and then increase that to the other areas of law. And to really go to my team for answers. I don't feed my team answers. When they come to me with the problem, I want to know what their solution is. I might have a better solution, and we'll talk through that and why I might have a better solution. But it's putting trust in them and empowering them to grow and be better than they want to do better.
As we've talked about throughout this, you work with a lot of different clients, and I've seen the impact you've made, saving people's homes, saving people's cars, attorneys for debt collectors kind of just walking away from the case because you or one of your attorneys got on the case. So you get to do that work. I'm curious, what is your favorite thing about being a legal aid attorney?
My favorite thing is actually, believe it or not, the pro se clients. It's great to represent someone, but I've had a lot of pro se clients that have actually used the word empowered, because once we show them and really teach them how to go to court and what to expect and what kind of things are filed and why they're filed and what judges say and do, they leave the end of the case feeling empowered, like they won't be so run over next time.
That's certainly something that we try to do as a firm, but I know your unit very specifically works with a lot of pro se clients. The number of clients that you handle in a given year, I know, is kind of crazy. So thank you so much for the work that you do. Is there anything else you think that the people of Hernando County and our wider service area should know about the consumer unit?
My advice always with consumer of any kind is just know more about what you're dealing with. I don't care if it's a roofer or a credit card, know more about it. The more you know.
All right, thank you, Angela. Thank you to Angela for agreeing to be interviewed and for all the amazing work you do for our clients. Thank you for watching.